Hi everyone, thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for clicking on my video and coming and hanging out with me today. I feel a little overwhelmed, I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at this whole tub of products sitting in front of me and I'm like, oh, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? But I have to because of my sanity. Yeah. What I'm doing today in this video is I'm going to show you my contour and bronzer collection and give you some kind of high-level thoughts on what I have, and I'm going to possibly declutter some stuff. Honestly, I really don't know what direction I'm taking with this video, but at the end we'll know. So here's what inspired me to do this. One, I was watching a Jessica Braun video where she went through a lot of her blushes and just kind of gave some overall kind of generalized thoughts and feedback on some of the blushes that were in her collection. And I thought, oh, that's kind of fun. But then I looked at my drawer and I realized, ugh. Oh gosh, why? I can barely open the drawer, and my drawer houses all my bronzers, contour products, highlighters, blushes, and face palettes. And you know, it's a good sized collection, and I feel as though it keeps growing. So I'm going to walk you through just the bronzers and contour products today. So if that sounds interesting, then stay tuned. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Em. I am a hoarder, and you're watching Makeupry. If you like what you see today and you are not yet subscribed, please click that button and come hang out with me again in the future. I hope you enjoy this video, and yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so the biggest and most bulky thing that I already have in this drawer is this giant Paris Hilton contour set. This is the worst packaging ever. I already talked about this in a video a while back. I remember liking the contour products. It's been a while since I've used them because it's so bulky. I just stack everything on top of it and it gets buried. There's a highlighter, bronzer, and blush in here as well. I'm not going to talk about those, but I think what I want to do with this is I'm going to depot this. I'm going to commit to depotting this because it's just so bulky, and honestly it's not going to get used, and I spent money on it and I just need to, you know, get to it. These, I remember kind of vaguely, ooh, these are really creamy. So those are actually really pigmented. No, these are fairly pigmented. I remember really liking this shade because it was just a really nice contour color. It was a really nice contour shade for me in the winter because it's kind of a neutral, almost cool toned brown. And then a little bit darker is this one, which I think is more of a bronzing kind of shade. It's definitely not something I would necessarily contour with. And then this is more of a highlight, but it's matte and it has more of a golden yellow. Yeah, your backfire made you sound so cool. Poop poop. So this shade here has a little bit more of a golden banana tone to it. I actually liked that as well because it works really well for under the eyes. So I will keep this. I just need to depot these and put them in a much smaller palette. I'm going to show you quickly some of the other larger items. This one, I'm kind of embarrassed about this because I haven't used it. This is the Estee Lauder Estee Edit palette. This is a face palette and I haven't used it yet. It's been buried in there. There's highlights, there's some bronzers and kind of bronzy blush colors, and then deeper bronze. These are all shimmer shades. None of these are matte. I think that might be why I haven't gravitated towards this. Yeah, I don't even know if the Estee Edit is even a thing anymore, but I liked their eyeshadows. I haven't tried these yet. There are no dips in the products, so I spent a good amount of money on these. I'm not gonna lie. And I feel really embarrassed that I haven't used it yet. And I love the glittery packaging. It's just really fun. So I need to use this. I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to stick it somewhere I see it so I know to just kind of start using that, because I think I spent like $60 on it. Next up is this Je ne sais quoi palette from It Cosmetics. It is also a face palette, so it's got a matte bronzing contour shade. It's got a highlight. It's actually got kind of a bronzing highlight and a light highlight and a blush. I have actually used this several times. I've traveled with it. I really like this. This is like the perfect bridal posy pink. I love that for brides, and I like it for me too. And there's a little bit of color payoff with this bronzing contour shade. There's a little bit of a sheen. I just don't remember there being a lot of color payoff when I wore it. And I think that might be why I liked it. Like, you apply it and it's not one of those products where you're just going completely overboard and nutso with it. But it's something that I do like. The highlighter is also more on the matte side. It's a creamy ivory kind of shade, so I liked that. And then the actual shimmering shade is very subtle. It's more of those glow from within kind of shades. So it's very subtle. It's not one of those glow to the gods kind of highlighters, which I appreciate. So I do really like this palette, and I need to get more use out of that, so I'm keeping it for sure. Next is this Lovecraft Beauty. Ooh, this one is a bronzer palette or contour palette. I'm not exactly sure. It also has remained unused, but look how dark these are. These are really dark, and I think that might be why I've never gravitated towards it. I got this in an Ipsy bag 1 month, and actually those aren't too bad. These ones are definitely way too dark for me, but this one might be a good shade. The only thing about these kinds of palettes is they're not really geared towards consumers because, hello, one person doesn't have this kind of range for skin tone. So I really wish they would have kind of stuck to a specific tone family, like all lights, all mediums, all deeps, because the only way I will use these deeper ones is to use them as an eyeshadow. So this I might actually pass along. I'm not sure yet what I want to do with this because it's not something, I might put it in my kit. I don't know yet. I'm actually, yes, I'm going to put this in my kit. I'm not going to use it on myself. It's just too dark for me, and you look at me. Hello. I'm not that dark. Next is City Color Contour Effects. This is very similar, but it has a much lighter shade, which I appreciate because you can actually mix these deeper tones with the lighter shade to get the perfect shade. However, this is labeled as contour, bronze, and highlight. Here are those shades up close. This bronzer has a really nice tone to it. This contour is way too dark for me. This again would be a really good eyeshadow. The highlighter is actually is also very matte and white. So I'm not sure about this one though. I haven't used it. I haven't grabbed for it. I need to play with this a little bit more and see if I like it. Yeah, the deep tone is cool, which is perfect, but it's definitely meant for someone who has a deeper skin tone than me. This might be a kit product, or it might be something I pass along, so we'll see. That's definitely not going back in my drawer because it's not something I grab for, and it's kind of bulky for what it is, and if I'm not grabbing for it, then why have it in the drawer? It's just gonna go to waste. Next is this Mayron Smart Star Blend Contour powder, and you use this wet or you can use it dry. I bought this more for costume looks. This was something that I liked using under the cheekbones to really define them, to really bring forward certain features when I was doing some costume looks. This I'll keep because it's just a dry pan and it still smells fine. It's just one of those products that will stay good for a long time. And that's the shade. It's definitely a nicer cool brown. However, again, it's a little too dark for me, but it's good for costume looks, and so I'll keep it for that. There's some older products in here that I've just kept in here and I have no idea why. Whoa, hello, okay. I don't even think this is made anymore, and it's a CoverGirl True Blend Minerals Mineral Bronzer. This was given to me from someone who just wasn't using it, and honestly I haven't grabbed for it in ever, and I don't even know how long I've had this. It's a very shimmery bronzer, and I think why she didn't like it as much is because it pulled a little orange. So let me just swatch this. It's getting everywhere. There's glitter and just puffs of powder. Yeah, it's a little peachy orange. You see, it kind of has almost like a creamsicle color to it. It's pretty. It's definitely very shimmering. This would be prettier on someone who has a medium skin tone. I'm not so sure that this would look good on me, so I think I'm going to declutter this. I feel badly for it because it is kind of cool, but I mean, maybe I'll just depot some of it and use it more for a pigment eyeshadow, but honestly, I'm never going to use this, so I need to just bite the bullet and get rid of it because it's just a waste of space, and my space is precious now. Another bronzer that comes in kind of a large pigment is a L'Oreal Glam Bronze. This one's medium deep. Man, this is I've had for a long time, I will admit that. This one I actually really liked. I wore this a lot for a really long time. That's the shade. It's a little deep. It does apply really softly, and you can build it up, which is why I liked it, because you can just get just the subtlest amount there. It is really subtle. It does have a sheen. It's a little sparkly, but I do like this. I need to pull it out and use it more. So this is something I just need to stick on the desk along with that Estate Edit one to use it up. And you know, I haven't really dedicated or committed to doing a project pan, but I think that is something I would have to do a project pan on. So yeah. Another product I have here is the Bare Minerals Mineral Veil. This one is tinted, and it doesn't say what shade, if there's a shade to it. I think I remember using this and believing that it was just a little too dark for me. So it's definitely a bronzer shade and not so much as a mineral powder because it's just too deep. Yeah, and it has more of a pink tone to it, as you can see. Kind of a peachy pink. So it's pretty. I don't know that I will use this, to be honest, because it was just too peachy and too orange. I might give this away. I'm jury's out on it because I do like the texture of this, and it might work as a bronzer. I need to try this out and see if it works. Otherwise, I need to declutter it because it's just sitting there and I'm not using it, and it's just a waste of an amazing product. I know this is amazing. I know it works really well. It just doesn't work for me because of the tone. So I'm going to see if it'll work as a bronzer, and if it doesn't, then it's going in my pass-alongs and or things that I'm just need to declutter because they're old. This one is old as well. This is the Revlon Beyond Natural Concealer and Highlighter. They do not carry this anymore. Actually, I don't even know if this is still good. Yeah, this is separating. So I'm going to declutter this because it's old. It's a cream product, and I don't honestly know how old it is. You can definitely tell I got a lot of love and a lot of use out of it because I hit pan. This is a little bit deeper, so I actually didn't use it for concealer. I used it more for contour, and it worked beautifully for that. So you know the nude sticks or the Fenty match sticks that have come out and people are raving about this. This is kind of what that product was in more of a pan form. So Revlon came out with something like that before Fenty and before nude sticks even did. So I appreciated this. I got a lot of love out of it. I honor it. I thank it for its service. It's time to say goodbye. Some other stuff in here that's also a little old. The NYC something color, it's worn off. It's a 24-hour sun powder. I really liked this. The highlighter obviously is all gone. The bronzer, however, I really liked the packaging because it looked like a sun, and I feel like a lot of people had this. It's got a little bit of a hard surface, so I might have to scrape that off. All right, let's swatch this now and see. Yeah, I'm gonna declutter this as well. So sad. It's one of those nostalgic products that I really loved. This did the job. It was amazing when it lasted, but yeah, it's called the Sun to Sun All Over Bronzing Powder in Bronze Gold. This was my ride or die, and you can tell. I remember the highlighter broke, but I used the highlighter so much that it really didn't matter because it was almost gone anyway. So yeah, I honor this as well and say thank you for its service. It's time to go. Do you like my KonMari method of saying goodbye to my products here? I'm practicing. I'm trying really hard now. Next up is another really old product, but I can't bear to part with it because I love it so much, and it still actually works, and I need to use this as well. This is the Revlon Photo Ready Bronzer. It comes in 4 shades. The reason why this is so nostalgic for me is because when I first moved to Seattle, I think I was 22 or 23 years old, and I moved here sight unseen basically, and I'd been on YouTube for a couple of years. Ulta was kind of this novel idea of a store. It was depicted as being better than Sephora because you had all the drugstore brands, but it was kind of elusive because it wasn't available. They didn't have many storefront locations back then. So I remember coming to Seattle and going all the way out to Northgate to go to Ulta because it was the only one in the city as far as I know. And I went in, and of course I had a heyday in there. I was so excited, and even though I didn't need to buy Revlon there, I saw this and I was like, that's so pretty. I've heard some good things about it. I'm buying it. So I bought this along with some other things, and I remember it was summer 2012, and it was such an awesome summer. And this bronzer carried me through my summer, and it was so pretty, and then it got buried in my stuff. I'll try it out and see if it works. If not, I'll just keep it for nostalgia. That's not KonMari, but I like it too much. Alrighty, next is the Sugar Contour de Force Mini Bronzer. I've used this a few times and I don't remember if I liked it or not. It's a good shade, as you can tell. It's soft and silky and it seems to blend out nicely. It does have a little bit more of an orange tint, but I need to use this again. I might actually need to just depot this and put it in with those Paris Hilton ones so that I'm not having to dig around for this as much. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to do that with this as well. It's the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer, and I really like this. It still smells like chocolate. This one's old too, but I've used this so many times. This one's the medium deeper one, but I like this tone for me because it's like a perfect, almost coolish cool tone, so I used it more for contour, and it just looked really nice on my skin. I haven't grabbed for this in a while, but I remember really loving this. So this, I think I'm just going to depot these and put them with the Paris Hilton palette for now so that they're all together and I have one centralized place to grab for that, and that'll save me some precious real estate in my drawer. This one is newer to me. I bought this recently. It is the Wet n Wild Bronzer. This one is called Sunset Striptease. I like this. I've used it a lot lately. This one just has a really nice sheen to it without being super shimmery, and it's a good tone. I like this bronzer. So yeah, I'm definitely keeping this, especially since I just recently bought it. Okay, I already know this is going to be a mess. This is the Stila Sun This is the Stila Sun Bronzer in number 1. I repressed it, that's why. Oh, this is so silky smooth. I forgot how much I liked this. I remember though it's a little bit more orangey, and I think that's why I didn't grab for it as much. Yeah, it's a little orange peachy. Although I think this would make a really nice blush. I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to put this in with my blushes. Yeah, that'll be a really nice blush. It's not a bronzer for me. You're getting rehomed in the scary pile of blushes in my drawer. Next is this Pacifica Bronzed Rose palette. It's got both a blush and a bronzer. I've used the blush more than I've used the bronzer. I don't know why. I really like the color of this bronzer, and it's a nice light cool tone. So this I might not use as much as a bronzer as much as I would use it for contour. So this I need to dig out and use more. Plus it has a mirror on the back side, which is kind of cool. Sorry to flash your eyes there. Next are my Buxom bronzers. Sadly they don't make these ones anymore, but they're my favorite bronzers. They are Tahiti and Maldives. I got these in PR so many years ago, but they're just so lovely. Even the deep dark one is just a nice tone. This is if I'm a little bit more tan. It smells like cocoa butter. It's so nice, and just look at that nice sheen it has. And I'm actually wearing the lighter one, which is called Tahiti. This is what I'm wearing today. It is obviously a really nice bronzer. I've been using these for years. I'm never decluttering these until they're like down to pan, and I'm actually getting close to being at pan with this one. So sadly, they don't make these anymore. They do have similar bronzers. I don't know how good they are or how similar they are. I might need to try one of their newer bronzers and just kind of compare them, because I really love those bronzers. So I use them more sparingly now because I just love them so much and don't want to ever run out. So there's that, keeping it for forever. Next is this Tarte bronzer in Park Avenue Princess. This is a good classic. This is a deluxe sample. Look how pretty that is. Oh, sorry, it's not focusing. There we go. It has this gold sheen to it, and it's just a very lovely... I'm going to add just a little bit here. It is such a lovely bronzer, and I forgot I had this. It's a good classic. I really like it, and I am keeping that. If I add more product to my face, I might as well, you know, blend it in. But yeah, I really like that bronzer, and it's definitely staying in my collection for the foreseeable future. Next is another deluxe sample. This one is another gorgeous Mosaic Baked bronzer. This is from Lorac. It is the Tantalizer Baked Bronzer. This one I really liked as well, and I'm surprised I haven't hit pan on this. I'm not even close, but this is kind of similar to the Tarte one, although it's way more shimmering. This is not something I would just like, you know, bronze my whole face with. This is definitely more strategic because it's coppery and more of like the upper cheekbone kind of highlighty kind of bronzer, but I remember really liking this and I need to pull that out more and use it because it's just beautiful. Next is this Gigi Gorgeous Contour and Bronzer Duo. The 6 Sculpt Bronzer Duo Turnt in Extra. I got this recently enough in my Ipsy, so I'm definitely keeping that. I don't have a lot of opinions on it just yet to be able to tell you how much I like it or dislike it because I don't know. I've only used it like twice. So I will definitely be using that more, so stay tuned for that. So another deluxe sample of a Bare Minerals product is this one called A Little Sun. I definitely have used that because the little stopper is off. I'm trying to remember, I haven't used this in a long time. It's similar, I think, to the Mineral Veil. This, ooh, that's actually really pretty. It's a little bit more in that orangey kind of brick tone, so I think the reason why I haven't grabbed for that is for the same reason I hadn't grabbed for the Mineral Veil. But I do want to use this and give it another whirl and swirl on my face because it is really pretty. I think this will be kind of a duo blush and bronzer on my face as opposed to just a straight up bronzer because it's very shimmering. It definitely has more of that orangey tone to it, and when I wipe it off, that's the color I get, is more of that orangey base. I have a deluxe sample of the tinted Mineral Veil. I don't need 2 of them, so I think I'm going to pass that one along, or maybe both. Or maybe I'll just keep this one and give the larger one away. We'll see. But that's definitely going in my bin of pass-alongs. Okay, next is this Maybelline Dream Mousse Bronzer in medium. Oh, that I'm just going to declutter because look at that. That has since gone past its prime. It is no longer viable. It smells alright. It smells like makeup. But yeah, this has been in here for a while and that just needs to go in the garbage. It's cream and it's cracked cream and that sounds really gross. This was a limited edition blush bronzer. This is more of a blush, but because it's so dark, I definitely use this more as kind of like a bronzing blush. This one has a slight sheen to it. There's not a lot of pigment there, but that's why I really liked this because it just added a little bit of flush to my face, but it was dark enough that I could just use it on the peripheral without it being like brick red all over my face. It's kind of in that tone family, is that it's almost like a brick red, not quite orange. It's kind of like a terracotta. That's a better name for it, like more of a terracotta color. I really liked this. I need to pull this out more because I do like it, and I know it's old and it definitely swatches fine, so for now I'll keep it and see how it goes. Next is this Love and Beauty, they call it a bronzer. This is really light. This is the brand that you can get at Forever 21. I don't know if they still have this or even if the Forever 21 brand is still available. It is a little bit too dark for me to use as a highlighter, but it's almost too light for me. You can see it there in the shadow, and then you can see how reflective it is. It's pretty. It's more pink than anything. It's not really a bronzer necessarily, I don't think. I would say this is more of a highlighter, and to be honest, I don't remember really being wowed by this, but I think I just never grabbed for it, to be honest, because it was sitting in my bronzer drawer and I always looked at it and thought it was too light. So I think I'm gonna give it another whirl and put it in my highlight drawer and see if I grab for this. I know I keep giving second chances to these products that I really shouldn't, but hey, I paid money for these. I want to see if I can get my money's worth out of them. This one is a translucent pressed powder, but it's bronze, and it's also from Love and Beauty. This is way too dark for me to use as a powder because, hello, there it is. It's a little too dark, so I used it as a bronzer, and it definitely has a lot of pigmentation. It's really soft. It blends nicely. It's a little orange. Yeah, that's my big issue, is when bronzers are a little too orange. This one I think I'm going to declutter because this color I wouldn't even wear as a blush necessarily. It's just a little too brown to be a nice blush tone, I think. Well, maybe. Oh, I don't know, guys. This one's hard because I like the color, but I just don't see myself using it that often because it's almost too light for me to use as a blush, but it's too dark for everything else. But it's just not the right tone for anything like bronzers. I'm going to think about this. I'm putting that in the same bin I have for my declutters. I'm just going to be ruthless with that one. I haven't used it. I never probably will. Next is this Pixi Beauty Bronzer Subtly Sun Touched. This one is a really interesting shade. It's a cool toned brown, but it pulls more pink. It's got a slight mauve tone to it, and it's very light. I don't know that I liked this, to be honest. This would be a nice highlighter for someone who has deeper skin than me. I don't know. This one was an interesting product. It's pretty, but it's just not something, it's just kind of funky color. So I think I'm going to put that aside as well. It's just not something I grab for, and I'm pretty certain that I won't ever grab for that, come to think of it. Next is this NYX blush called Cocoa. I use this more as a contour and bronzer duo because it's definitely a cocoa color. It's very dark. It is very deep, but it is really pretty and pigmented. And when I did makeup on my mom once, I sanitized this and I used it on her, and it looked really nice. Obviously it still has a lot of texture to it because this is the old NYX packaging. I do like this. I think I need to pull this out or try to figure out a way to use this a little bit more in contour. I think I'm going to give that another try and see what comes about with it. Next is this deluxe sample of the Bahama Mama bronzer from The Balm. This is so tiny. I remember when I originally got it, I didn't realize it was a bronzer. I thought it was an eyeshadow because it's so small. So I actually used it a lot for eyeshadow, but this one is a nice cooler toned brown that is a little bit lighter as well. I think I'm also going to try to depan or depot this one and put that in some sort of magnetic palette so that I can see it and, you know, potentially use it more. This is the Hoola bronzer from Benefit. This one is a deluxe or mini sample. I just like mini products. I think they're a great way to dip your toe into a product line without having to commit to the full price tag. And the size of this is a good size for me to dip like a larger face brush in. It kind of doesn't fit all the way, but it works for me. But yeah, I really like this Hoola bronzer. It's a nice one, and I recently repurchased this, and it's gonna stay in my drawer. Next up is this Hikari. It's a quad kind of palette. It's definitely more bronzy than anything, but it's got this really pretty coral pink shade, and this was my favorite bronzer blush combo for a while. It's kind of similar to that NYX one that I've been wearing, because when you mix them all together, it just creates the most beautiful rosy copper shade, and this is just really nice for the summer months. And because these are large enough, you can also dip kind of a good sized brush into them, and you can just concentrate on having that one color. So I do that a lot with the coral. I'm definitely keeping this. It is lovely. I really love that product, and I haven't used it in a while, and I need to because I really love that product. And lastly, but not leastly, is an Ofra bronzer in Americano. This was buried in that drawer and I forgot I even had it. And then I saw it recently and I'm like, oh man, I forgot I had it. This one is a nice bronzer. It's more of a medium tone for me, and it has a little bit more of a copper tone to it versus the gold or the neutral brown. So this is not something I see myself reaching for super often, but I do like it enough that I'm going to keep it. And plus it's Ofra. I mean, yeah. This is something I'm keeping, and I'm going to play with this a little bit more before I really, you know, decide if I don't need it anymore, because it's not exactly the right tone. Alright, so out of that whole collection, this is what's left. This is so much more manageable. I don't feel overwhelmed by it. So, phew. Was there anything in my collection that kind of struck you as odd, or maybe you liked, or maybe you wish would be reprised? If there's a limited edition or discontinued item here, let me know. Also, if you have any suggestions, or if you have any recommendations on any other bronzer or contour product that has a really nice formula, that is a nice cooler tone shade, maybe meant for lighter skin tones like myself, I would love to hear what your recommendations are for that. And I'm going to continue to do this with my highlighters and blushes as well, so I will create a series out of this. I'll have those videos up in the coming weeks, but until then, I hope you guys, again, click that subscribe button to see what other new videos are coming up. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Anyway, I will chat with you guys later, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay healthy, stay happy, and stay electric as always. Bye!